Welcome to another ECS Tuning Easy DIY. Today we're installing this carbon fiber rear diffuser on that MK7 GTI. Today we're working with this beautiful genuine carbon fiber piece. Again, I really can't stress how good it looks, especially in person. I hope these beauty shots do it justice. If you're on more of a budget, we do offer a gloss black ABS piece instead. Installation is going to be the same for both kits. Both kits also come with all the nuts, bolts, and washers you're going to need, as well as brackets. From a tools perspective, it's pretty straightforward. We got a T15 and T25 Torx, a 13mm crescent wrench, and a 6mm Allen. That's it. Let's dive in. All right, starting at the back of the car here, we have two small 15 Torx here, and then T25 Torx here. It's worth noting, these are plastic. On to the T25s. With the screws out, we're going to pull down on the rear valance and start massaging this pop clip out. Again, it's worth noting, these are plastic. Now that we have this T25 removed, we can get this fender liner up and out of the way to get to these last two Torx screws on either side. Some GTIs, this will be a T20, and some will be a T25. This car in particular happens to be a T20. We're going to now pull this forward with a little bit of force and then pull the ends down, and we'll move on to the tabs after that. Repeat on the other side. Now we'll just pull the tabs down on either side. We're working with these upper set of tabs. Push, push, and just massage it out a little at a time. And now we'll go over to the other side and do the same thing. Now that the brackets are loosened and those tabs are pushed in, we're gonna really just yank the whole OEM rear valance off. We're gonna start on the outsides and do a little at a time and switch back and forth from side to side. It's a good idea to sort of brace the bumper so that you don't pull anything other than the valance. And you get that satisfying pop when everything comes loose. Don't go too far on one side. Now we're going to come over and get that same pop on this side. Back over. That's it, it's off. Let's put the new one on. We're gonna install the rear mounting bracket now. And important to note that you want it faced inwards towards the car once we install. And it goes on pretty simple. It goes through the factory brackets there. And it's gonna be this Allen bolt, a washer, then our ECS bracket into the car, another washer, and then a nylock nut on top. And we're just gonna tighten these down by hand. We don't wanna put a monster amount of torque on them. That nylock nut is gonna keep everything rigid. Before we offer this up into the rear bumper, I wanted to take a minute to show you how all those tabs work that we just removed. So the new piece from ECS, our carbon fiber set here, has all these same tabs that you have in the factory location on the OEM piece. So when we fit it up to the car, we need to align those tabs. It's gonna be hard to capture on camera, so I wanted to be sure to show you here so that when you're working on the car, you can understand the alignment we'll be dealing with. And then we're going to put the Allen bolts into those brackets that we just installed. So we're just gonna unscrew the bolts that we have in the brackets, and then we'll clip the valance in and put these bolts back in by hand to keep everything tidy while we finish up. All right, now we're going to be lining up the tabs as we add it in, which I know is going to be hard to see on camera, hence showing you on the cart. And notice how I'm working right to left, left to right, and I'm putting everything in just a couple millimeters at a time to make sure all the tabs are seated. Yeah, that looks good. Now I'll go ahead and add our bolts. So fitment on our brackets is just a little bit off, and this car had reversed into one of those parking berms, so it's not surprising that it's just a smidgen bent. It's not off terribly, but just be prepared when you go to do this on your own, especially if you're working with a used car. You never know the history. All right, now where we took those T20 Torx out, we're going to replace it with fresh Allen hardware. So I'm going to offer it up into the hole. We'll use a washer on either side of the diffuser and the OEM plastic, and then we'll finish it with a 10mm nut. All right, so we have everything fit pretty well. All the hardware is in hand tight. I'm now going to properly tighten our rear two here and then move out to the wings. And you always start in the middle and work your way out, because as we get out there, I can massage it in or out depending on where I want the fitment. And it's worth noting, we don't have torque specs on these. You want to be tight, but not too tight that you crack the carbon fiber. So because this car was hit in the rear or hit something in the rear bumper is just a little bit off. So I'm going to massage the valance out a little bit and tighten it down that way just to get perfect fitment. Our hardware on this kit for the wings here is a 5mm Allen and 10mm wrench, and it's a nylock nut up top, so you don't need it to be ultra tight, but again, we are trying to fill in that little bit of gap from the accident in the rear. Yeah, that's perfect. Now I'm going to do sort of the final tightening. This side looks a lot better. It wasn't on the dinged area, so we're just going to tighten it up. With the hardware all installed and tightened down and the alignment good, we're going to reuse our factory fender liner here. And we're going to use that T25 Torx under here again. And repeat on the other side. All right, everything is installed. Fitment is really good. I'm really just kind of wiping down my fingerprints now since we got a little greasy and oily down there. But fitment, it's just great. It centers up with the exhaust nicely, and it really just wakes up the rear end of the car. I'm pretty happy with how everything turned out. I hope you like and subscribe for more sweet car content, and of course we'll have all the links to the tools and items we showed in this video.